Nice. We are going to use pieces of cardboard as our palettes today, and we're gonna reuse these, so don't throw it away at the end. And then I've got a lot of materials in here, and I'm gonna show you some other things that we have out and about. These are the dry things, meaning they don't have any wet paint on them. Please do not put anything with wet paint back in this bin. You're going to put it in this box as the needs to dry. When they are dry, I'll throw them back in this one, okay? All right, so we're gonna start with scrape. So you'll get yourself some cardboard. There's a variety of sizes in here. You can cut this, you can rip this, like if you don't want this size. So just to start for today, I don't care what colors you get. This is completely up to you. The only thing I would ask is please use, what's up?
I have to leave at 2:30.
Okay, please use the Crayola ones. We're just gonna use these up, okay? If you don't mind.
Get rid.
Yeah, basically, get rid.
Don't get rid of all the magenta. I need it.
No, I have tons of magenta.
These ones are like glossy and this one's weird.
I kind of
looks like
like
mustard.
I kind of like that
It
one.
is. It's really.
Yeah, that's just straight up mustard.
Okay.
It's like yellow or
Are you starving?
Eating
Okay.
Trigger warning.
Scrape. So,
Scrape it.
I lost my cardboard. You can still mix colors with this right on your palette, okay? But scrape basically is pulling the paint across the surface. Now, if you push down, like you saw me push down a little bit more, you get a little bit more paint at the start, right? Yeah, and it can be bigger. You can also do, you can layer this and you can use the edge. I'm just kind of like randomly mixing here. You can use the edge of the cardboard if you want more of like a skinny line. These are super fun to do when like this is dry. It's fun to go back and like layer over the top because you get some really interesting layering. Okay, I'm gonna show you where I use these techniques on one other thing in a couple minutes. Okay, so that's scrape. Bubble wrap. I have two different kinds of bubble wrap. There's like teeny tiny bubble wrap, and then like regular
Small bubble.
standard. Let's go with that because it's not the humongo one.
I cannot. The best one.
Okay, don't pop it.
I will.
Don't pop it. Pearl.
Oh, it needs to not be popped to you.
Yeah, you want it not popped. So I'm just painting on some paint. You could dip this down into the paint. I just kind of like using a paintbrush for this particular thing. I'm going to try to mix.
Only time we'll use paintbrushes.
Well, no, you'll use paintbrushes with this, but we're going to do some other things with it. So bubble wrap, press down. It's kind of like a stamp.
How do you press down and not pop them?
Carefully.
down
I'm not
very
like
gently.
slamming my hand down. I'm just
If you
pushing.
feel the pressure evenly, it should be fine.
Oh.
Okay.
It looks like scales.
It does look like scales. You can cut these too. So if like you want this in a round circle or something, you can do that. I'm gonna try to layer.
I'm rethinking everything.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, I need to do a piece that I can use all of these because this is so fun.
Okay,
Pearl,
so
texture piece.
you can layer. Oops, I think I wanted that in a different spot, but that's where it's going.
Oh, no, that's cool.
Okay. So that's obviously bubble wrap. Okay, that one's fun. These, you heard me say that you can cut these too, right?
Yes.
Okay. Stencil. So,
Stencil?
what's a stencil?
It's like
A
you
shape, trace,
cut out.
trace, shape.
Yeah, a shape, a tracing, right? Something that you can trace. So you can, Aaron, you can make your own stencil, or do you know how you would make your own stencil?
Cardboard.
Yeah, a little piece of cardboard, something thin or thin paper, and just cut out whatever you want. Or I've got a lot of these random things, like produce nets. This is like clementine. Oh, there's one in here that's from a wine bottle. You know, when they don't want them to clink together.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can apply the paint with the stencil. You have to hold this down though. That's the only trick. You can tape it if you want. You can use a sponge. That sponge is very crunchy on that one side. Sponge works pretty good. I'm actually going to recommend it. You can use a paintbrush if you hold this down really well. Do you see how I'm tapping off some of the paint? Because I don't want too much.
You don't want like the big blob.
Yeah.
Not work as well.
Okay, So there's Stencil. Now imagine how cool Stencil would look layered over top of something else, right? Like, so if you had a color down before, like obviously I don't love working just on white, but that is an option. So sponge, you saw me use the sponge. So sponges are fun for texture, and you can get a little bit more paint on it if you want like some darker values. I'm just gonna do some wet on wet mixing. I'm mixing right on my paper.
Sponges are my favorite tool for that.
Yeah, so this is cool. It gives you really interesting texture. I can see some of you using this sponge a lot on your paintings. I can see that technique. So that's sponge.
Finger paint. I'm probably
Okay.
gonna use that.
Finger paint. I think I'm gonna do finger paint last.
I want smooth edges. I want like flat.
We need to
smooth
demo
edges. And it's
The finger or juice.
I'm gonna show you. I mean, you know how to.
I learned that today.
So sgraffito. Do you know that word, sgraffito?
Yeah,
I've
it's
heard
like
it.
you scrape into it.
It's the scraping, yeah, scratching into it. So most artists use like a thicker amount of paint for sgraffito, and then they go in
Yeah, take that. So much that.
and scrape in to create like whatever the lines or the patterns that they want. No, yeah. So this is super cool if you have color underneath again. Have I talked about layers recently?
Nope.
Never. Yeah, never just never talk about it. Miss Jizu hates layers. She only likes flat, one-toned paintings. Yes.
Okay, layer it up, kids, layer it up. All right, finger paint.
Yay!
Obviously, you can, use your finger to apply the paint. It's kind of a fun way. Some artists use their fingers to to do an entire painting.
Can I
You know,
say something?
what?
Last year I was really struggling with a painting and it just wasn't looking good.
Uh-huh.
And then you told me to try finger painting, and then I don't know what, but like it was just like it just made it like infinitely better. It was just like I don't know what happened. Oh, your erase is off.
Hey you.
Okay, sorry.
I'm so glad you said that. Yeah, so there's a different kind of connection to your painting that you get when you're finger painting versus using a brush or alternative materials,
Because
right?
you know where the paint's gonna go,
Yeah.
and it won't make random like brush.
Yeah, and there's something like really
I don't finger
tactile.
paint my whole paint.
I didn't put this one on the screen, but you can I have tons of caps, and you can either paint on or you can dip
Like
in.
a bubble.
Yes,
Stamps.
like a stamp.
Oh,
I
that's
need
it.
more paint. I need more paint. Okay, here we go. More paint. Stamp down. You can turn them. You can scrape them. Right? So there are tons of sizes of these. Most of these are in this bag right here. Okay? There's all sorts of random tools in there. Okay. This one is a squeeze bottle. It's from Hair Dye. Don't judge. Okay. I have mixed black paint and medium in this, so it's a little bit more fluid,
Oh yeah. I love the medium.
Big ol' lines.
right?
Let's go for
So satisfying.
lines.
Okay. So you can get a really nice, bold, thick line. So this is squeeze bottle. I have black already set up, and I also have an orange set up already that you can use. So this is caps. I have a bunch of these little containers. I put some water in this. I'm not going to actually use this right now, but you can add some paint with some water, and you can kind of drip the paint out. It's like a controlled drip. That's an option for alternative materials. Obviously palette knives, but that's pretty traditional. Like paintbrushes and palette knives are traditional, but you can use these if you need to apply. I was going to show you one other one. Oh no, I was going to show you this. So I have this example up here if you want to see some other things. Craft paper, like there's craft paper in there. You can crinkle it up and tap it down to get, you can scrape with all sorts of different things. I used a ping pong ball and rolled it around. I used the back of a Nerf bullet. So this it's
Art
me.
is innovation.
It is. So this painting, I used the squeeze bottle. You can see the black lines are the squeeze bottle. The red is with my finger. I first started with scraping with the cardboard over the whole surface. So my ground color was blue. I scraped white and black over the blue. Then I went in with sponging. It's hard to see. It's got a lot of layers, you know, just saying. I went in with, I don't know if you can see it, but pen, and I scribbled in with pen. I also used Posca pen. I used cardboard to create these like lines in certain places. And then the last thing I did was I went in with some Conte crayon, I wanted to try it and see what would happen. So I went in with this like rust colored Conte crayon.
Is it supposed to be something in particular or just some?
It is just about movement,
Just some fun.
just some fun.
That looks
Okay?
I recommend pick a song.
You could do that.
pick a song and make pieces to
Make a
songs.
piece of song. That's what I love to do.
So, I have all sorts of things I can show you, but I want you to experiment today. I want you to try some things. Now that you saw the few that I showed you, think about your photograph. Think about how you've abstracted it or how you think you might want to abstract it. Grab yourself some paint, some cardboard, some business, a big piece of paper, something to write with, and get started. These palettes at the end of class, we're basically, wash those. We're gonna scrape off any extra paint and we're gonna let them dry. So there's a box by the sink. There's dry cardboard and then there's gonna be a box full of wet cardboard. We can reuse these over and over and over. It's better to have a bigger surface when you do something like this, okay? So that's why I cut a whole bunch of these. I mean, there's like fun things, like that's gonna be fun.
That's very fun.
That's just the top like of the clementine
Yes.
thing. I didn't throw them away. There's a whole bunch of them in there. Okay? Big papers, probably put your names on them. Cardboard, get some things. Mila, I stole your spot. Okay.